I have learned something. Something magical. Something great. I have learned that DS2 is not that bad. Dark Souls 2 is not as bad as people say. Yes, there are some parts where, woohoo, it can get a little goofy. I think that the biggest reason that people think DS2 is bad comes from the comparisons to its predecessor of DS3. DS3 is a different animal compared to DS1 and 2. DS3 is the pinnacle of Souls gaming. And then you're comparing it to DS2. Okay, let's just start off with the good. The good part of this game, the area design. I personally really liked the area design. It wasn't anything too creative, but I really liked the hub world of Majula. I think in comparison to all the Firelink shrines, it is maybe my favorite. The other areas, like finding the Bastille was really cool. The prison. You go to No Man's Wharf, and it's like a fisherman town. The castles, you go up to the mountaintops, and there's a bunch of dragons. Like the area design in this game is pretty fun. Another thing that they did better than DS1, they give you instant access to teleportation. Because I know my booty cheeks were not running all the way back up from the gutter. They were not doing that. So I'm very glad they didn't pull a DS1 and put teleportation behind a progress checkpoint. That would have sucked. But let's get into the questionable. The questionable part of this game is finding the proper path of progression. For instance, when you get to near the ending of the game, you have to go all the way back to the beginning of the game, through a somewhat hidden door, talk to a tree to go to a required boss. It doesn't tell you that anywhere. You get to figure that out. There's no hand holding. It's just kind of pick it up and go. So if you are trying to do this without looking anything up, you're going to have a real fun time. You're going to be running back through every single place, and it's going to be a little annoying. Moving on to the bad. Hitboxes. I know some people are going to fly at me in the comments and go, well, the hitboxes aren't that bad. Yes, they are. Not all of them. Some of them are fine. Some of them are a little jank. For instance, I am currently fighting the Fume Knight in the DLC. He has a certain stab attack that hitbox goes behind him after he plunges at you. So what they did is they just actually took a box, and then instead of moving it with the sword, they extended it as the sword went on. Another notorious one, getting grabbed by mimics. You can be behind the mimic, 3 feet away from the mimic. You can be 60 miles off away on a plane. That mimic will grab you. Another bad thing, enemy spam. Again, something you've all heard. This game likes using their enemies. They love using their enemies. Oh, yes. Any chance that they can get, they will make sure that running back to a boss or running back through an area will be the most annoying thing you have done all day. And lastly is the second part of enemy spam, and it's the boss enemy spam. Not all bosses in this game are bad. In fact, the one, like I said, I'm fighting Fume Knight right now. He is actually quite enjoyable. It is outside of the sometimes jank hitboxes, it is a very enjoyable fight. But then we look at the Royal Rat Vanguard. The Royal Rat Vanguard is not a fundamentally difficult fight. It is a bunch of rats, and you gotta beat them up until a big boy rat with a mohawk shows up, and then you gotta beat him up. The fun part is there's about 20 of them in a average New York apartment. And the best part, they build up the instant death stat in this game. Or the instant death proc in this game. You better be in for a fun time. Because you can't use sweeping attacks. There's a bunch of statues in the middle of the room that prevent you from doing that. Unga Bunga attacks? Oh, they hold you in place for too long. You will get petrified. Have fun with that. Another one, Skeleton Lords. Skeleton Lords, you walk into it, looks like a fairly easy fight, looks like Ruined Sentinel. You walk in, there's 3 dudes. Right when you deal with one, he summons a small army of about 20 skeletons. And they each lord summons a different army. One of them summons the wheel dudes that will shred your HP bar if you stand too close. One of them just summons a bunch of regular skeletons. One of them, armored skeletons. Have fun with that fight, because I know I didn't. I know we've been talking a lot about the bad stuff, but truly, I don't hate this game. I have played games where I've been like, ooh, this ain't good. This game was quite fun in some parts. And it is not the worst game I've ever played. Is it the worst Souls game I've ever played? Yes, by far. The worst FromSoft game I've ever played. It's actually not even a comparison. But I think that's probably why people don't like it. It is the worst FromSoft game that I at least have played. I don't know. Maybe FromSoft has a game that they built in '95 that's just build a sled simulator. I don't know. But truthfully, I don't hate this game. Well, that's all I got. Have a nice day. See you around.